Guys, what is up? Pilot Manny here with the RC Plane Addict. I want to welcome you to my channel, a place where I get to share my passion and addiction for flying these beautiful RC planes. So today I thought we'd do a little let's fly. It's kind of crummy weather out. I'm like waiting for the rain to hit, but I think I got an hour or two, so we're gonna make the best of what we got. And what are we flying today? We're flying one of my favorites. That's right. This is the FMS T28 Trojan, coming in at about 1400 millimeters. This thing is an all-star. I love this plane. Easily one of my favorites. I believe this is the version 4. And as you can see, those lights are shining beautiful today. So I'm running a 4-cell, and it is a 4000 milliamp Rhino pack. You can get that from Hobby King. And it gets amazing flight times on it because it is just a very, very efficient plane. I could put a 6-cell in there, but the problem is really the hatch. This guy, I have to like kind of shave off almost everything at the bottom just to fit it, and I'm not about to do that. So you know what, we're gonna leave it be for now and get this bad boy flying. One thing you should know about this plane is they still haven't fixed that front gear. It's pretty weak. I've already kind of snapped it on a rough landing, and I've had to reinforce it with a block of wood, and now that front gear is not retractable anymore, which is unfortunate, but you know what, it is what it is. And honestly, at the end of the day, as long as I can fly it, that's all that really matters. All right, let's get this thing flying. All right, 6 minutes on the timer. See if we can get some shots with my run cam. Hopefully that Velcro holds. Seemed to be a little weak before, but see how she does. See how she does. All right. Let's see here. So we got a little takeoff flaps. We got a little more for landing. I do have the Admiral Stability Plus in this, so should I need any kind of gyro assistance, it's there. But again, it's not like the safe mode. It's not going to put this plane into a level of flight if I let go of the sticks. It's strictly going to help me with countering any kind of adverse wind conditions I have up there. And as you can see from the flag, I have a headwind, which is great. So all right, let's take this bad boy out into the field and see if we can get some flight going on here. Okay, so right away. High rates. Yeah, that front nose is like barely moving. Well, that's really not good. Flaps up. So what I'm dealing with right now is throttle cut. My front gear like not turning for me, which is not going to be helpful if I'm flying around out there. So let's see what's happening here. I really don't like that. Just trying to center it a little bit. Like I said, this front gear is a little loose. All right, so you know what I think we're gonna do? I think we're gonna walk this thing out, and instead of taxiing it, and we'll see if we can get it to run out. Once there's speed, once there's like good ground speed and there's air going over that rudder, the rudder kind of takes over on like the yaw, which is what I really need, because that front gear is not doing anything for me right now. All right, let's see. Fingers crossed on this one, boys. Throttle cut off. All right. Let's see. Takeoff flap. A little bit of flaps in there. All right, going up. Flaps up. It's been a while since I've flown this bird, I'll be honest with you, but it is such a good plane to fly. It really is. Mid-rate. All right, so I just turned my mid-rates down. I did kind of put my battery all the way back in its bay because I didn't know how the CG would be affected with that run cam up front. but you know what? It seems to be doing all right. So I'm gonna have to kind of trim it, I guess. Such a good flyer. I love this plane. Yeah, it's a little better. Another great thing about this plane is its color. You know, like when you get just a crappy sky like this, I feel like you really don't have to worry about it, like seeing it up there, because it's just, it's bright. It's bright. Like there's a couple of color schemes the Trojan comes in. And I know a lot of guys like to fly the white and the red. And that was honestly my first Trojan. I think that was like the V2. And that plane was great. I loved it to death. It was a second-hand plane. I didn't get it new. So she had quite a few flights on it. But you know what?
Landing flaps.
Let's see if I can get it nice and slow for you guys. Look at that.
Flaps up.
You know, for a big bird, she'll float. And I did have landing flaps on that, and it just, I don't know how to explain it. Like, you know, you put big planes in the air, and sometimes you don't really know what to expect. But I could tell you with this plane, it is extremely locked in, and you could do scale flights with it. You can go crazy with it. I personally like to kind of just do scale and, you know, every now and again do like my crazy vertical. There goes full throttle, as you can see, and not a problem. And here she comes back down. Nice and low for you. Yeah, this is such a great plane. And you know what? Like, you know, like I said before, if you just want to kind of run it around the field, doing scale flights, then she's good for that too. Or you can punch it and go crazy. Now, like I said before, the gear is, well, it's not the strongest on this plane. The mains are great, but the that front nose is just, it's, I don't know. You know, it only takes like one bad hit and then you're done for. And I kind of looked into trying to replace that whole just nose section area. So like, if you look at the gear, it's in like a well. And the well is kind of like glued into the fuselage, but you can't get the well separately. You have to buy a whole new fuselage, which in my opinion is just like, why? So if you do end up like coming down a little nose heavy and crunching that front nose, you're left with, you know, some pretty bad decisions to make. You know, you can, like I've done, kind of just solidify that front gear and lock it into place with a block of wood, or you can buy a new fuselage. And it's like, well, who wants to do that? So that's probably the only drawback for this plane, unfortunately. Other than that, you know, if you feel like, you know, you've really got your landings dialed in, and oh, there goes my minute timer. And you're not really too concerned with like, you know, well, okay, I'm gonna crunch that nose. Well, then this is gonna be a great plane for you. But, you know, just remember what I said. You crunch that nose once and you're gonna have a really hard time with your future in this plane. All right, so I'm gonna drop my flaps. Landing flaps are down. Taking it around, dropping throttle, using rudder, and nice.
Throttle cut.
Well, I mean, it was Okay, so you saw that landing, and like, I'm happy with that. Everything kind of came down in one piece, which is always what you want to happen. However, it wasn't on the mains. It was more like a flat, landing, and all three wheels kind of took the brunt of that. So like, for this plane, you know, that's not what you want to do. You kind of want to bring it down on the main, and already I can see a little bit of bend in that front wheel. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's kind of already leaning backwards, and that's with the brace. So yeah, this is the punishment this plane takes. Also, the propeller in the grass isn't high off the ground. So if you notice, this wheel here actually isn't stock. Let's see if I can get a little closer in for you guys. This wheel here isn't stock. I put that in. It's a little bit softer and like more cushion. These are like really solid, dense. So this kind of helps with like the cushioning. It kind of falls off its hub every now and again. So that's part of my struggles. I guess I gotta, you know, put that in with a little bit of glue. Anyways, let's see what we did on the battery. Oh, thank God that didn't come off. That would have been a nightmare. I have to think of a different way to kind of secure that. Also, I'm happy the rain is holding out for us. Right. So, like I said before, this is a very efficient plane, and this pack is actually pretty large for this plane. Sorry, just turn off the run cam. We'll see what we got. We'll see what we got. Oh my God, look, I know where my battery tester is today. Okay. 52% left. 52% left. So I could definitely bump that timer up if I wanted a longer flight. I'll be honest, I'm kind of shaking, so maybe this is pretty good for now. And there's 30 seconds left on this timer. So that was a 5.5 minute flight, and I have I got 52% left. So I want to talk to you just quickly about like the timer and how I kind of gauge how to fly planes according to, I guess, comfort and battery. I mean, if you're the type of pilot that's very confident and you feel like you can fly for just, you know, hours on end, then I would say you want to kind of do the math and try to figure out where that 20% mark is. 80% usage on your battery when you come down, depending on how you fly. And that's simple proportional stuff. But honestly, for this plane to be using 80% of its battery, having 20% left, you're looking at almost an 8-minute flight. And like I'm shaking, which means that I've probably almost reached my limit when it comes to attention to this plane. So, you know, it's like driving, right? Like there's only so long you can drive without being fatigued. And the same thing is true for flying remote control airplanes. You have to take into consideration how much dedication and attention span you have before you start making, I guess, bad decisions or decisions that you really wouldn't normally make if you had been, I guess, more well rested, right? That's really what it boils down to, how rested you are. And at what point do, you know, your nerves and your fatigue start to take over your better judgment. So just food for thought about flying your airplanes. You know, it's not always about, well, I got to get that battery down 20%, you know, down to 80% usage, you know, and I know I talk a lot about that, but honestly, it's boils down to your comfort. You know, if you're comfortable flying a plane for 4 minutes and there's a ton of battery left, then by all means do that. You know, you have nothing to prove here. You're not showing off to anybody. This is all about you and enjoying the experience. And don't let anyone else tell you, like, well, dude, you know, you got, and I know I've done it myself, but only because I wanted to fly with my friend a little longer. But honestly, you know, if he is comfortable or whoever you're talking to is comfortable flying for a certain amount of time, don't pressure them to do anything else, because honestly, it's just asking for a disaster, right? I mean, you wouldn't want it done to you. And I guess that's my tip for the day. Anyways, all right, guys. Well, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. You know, share with some friends if you think they'll benefit from this. If you want to see more of my crazy content, please subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.